What's happening? It's Contrast Uncut. It's season 2, episode 37. Wow. The season's flying by. I got to give a big shout outs to Bobby D Presents and Uncle Snoop's Army. I wouldn't be able to do this without you, brothers. And it's your host, Zylo, aka DJ Juan Dollars, like I won some money. Ladies and gentlemen, I got one of them one bad mofos. I'm talking about he had a legendary fight in 2014. It was probably the fight of the year. He has a history of just pound for pound success and fighting through so many different things and showing people especially from my area, Bakersfield area, Central Valley, that you can make it and really put your heart to it. Because I've seen this guy win a state championship and just continue to just grow and blossom into this wonderful person now that we got as Joe Soto. What's happening, brother?
How's it going? I'm going good. Trying to stay healthy out there.
Man, how hard is it to stay healthy with all the wear and tear you have on your body?
It is actually, man. I haven't really been training like after I've been fighting. I kind of semi-retired. I haven't really announced it, but I haven't been. Took some time off, maybe retired. But I got my first job, and it's kind of a physical labor job. And with all the fights and everything, I've just been, my body's just, I guess it took a toll after I stopped fighting. Just been breaking down on me.
Damn.
Yeah, so I haven't been able to train too much. I try to train when I can. It's kind of hard now with the family and everything, but I'm now with this thing, like no one's training, but now I'm really like itching to get back into it,
Yeah, because to a degree, it's like a reset. And it's like as soon as everybody comes back, it's like who made the most progress while they're in these shadows?
Yeah.
So, bro, I got a quote. Let me know how it relates to you, or if it doesn't, it's all good. You're not going to hurt my feelings. It's Contrast Uncut. The present time has one advantage over every other. It is our own. Charles Caleb Colton.
That's cool. Yeah, I mean, just what we can control in the present, right? We can't control the future, the past. Don't look back too much, but everything's about present moment, trying to be the best you can today.
So how would you feel like that relates to you and just, your spring of opportunities and like, I know the history and I want you to tell a lot of it, but you've jumped to moments of like, hey, this person dropped out. I'm there. I'm ready.
Yeah, it's all about being ready, being prepared. If you have like a goal or a dream, it's about staying ready, working hard, and just being ready for opportunities when they come. Because they come out of nowhere sometimes, and you just got to be ready to step forward. Sometimes you might be scared to, but if you don't, somebody else will jump into the opportunity. So when I was fighting, I haven't fought. It's almost been 2 years already. When I was fighting, I was always, trying to be best prepared as possible. I was always training. I was always into my craft and staying ready, for any opportunity that would present itself.
Right. So would you say like, through that whole transition of wrestling to from high school to college, I know you've probably been wrestling since you were a kid, to mixed martial arts and the Bellator and through all of that, do you feel like the game chose you of that caliber, or did you choose it?
It was like a mutual thing. It was just destiny, I think it was just meant to be. I don't know. Ever since I was young, I was always into Bruce Lee movies, like karate movies, Van Damme movies, Bloodsport. And I always kind of like wanted to be like a ninja, or like the best fighter. I wanted to be a fighter. I don't know. I'd be like in the mirror throwing punches, trying to get punching bags, like trying to practice punches. I didn't even know anything. And then like later on, I ended up stumbling into wrestling. I started wrestling kind of late, 8th grade. Usually people start younger. I started late. I went to go watch my friend practice, and after the match, the coach came up to me and said if I wanted to wrestle, and I was like, all right, I'll try it out. And I ended up coming in and started wrestling, and but I always was interested, like I said, in martial arts with Bruce Lee and everything. And then I remember watching the early UFCs. My uncle used to watch them, with Hoyt Gracie and all that, and on the illegal cable box,
The black box.
Yeah, and I wanted to do jiu-jitsu back then when I first saw it, when I seen Hoyt Gracie beat all these big guys, but there was no place around here that offered that back then. And then like I started, and then like I met wrestling, I got to wrestling. Yeah, it just kind of fell into place. Everything fell into place.
So what was like the culture in Porterville for wrestling? Like,
I don't think it is, like, now it's huge. I feel like it's bigger now, you know. But I think at the time, like, it was pretty big. I remember a few of my friends wrestled. One of my friends was really good, Brett Land. He actually wrestled in Bakersfield. I don't know if you remember Brett Land wrestled at BHS, but he's from Porterville. Okay. Yeah, he's from Porterville, and he was like big. He was a big time. Like, he always win nationals when he was a kid, you know. And he was gonna go to Porterville High. He ended up transferring to BHS, like in about 2000, early 2000s, you know. And
yeah.
But yeah, so I mean, there was people doing big things around here, but then, you know, I kind of, you know, I kind of took over when Brett Land left, went to Bakersfield, did this thing out there. I think it was a couple times state placer. I started placing here in Porterville, and I was, you know, probably a big name in the wrestling community here.
So, you know, I do know back in the day, and I mean, it's not as prevalent as it is now, but back in the day, you had BHS was pretty much going out there and taking talent from everywhere. They were getting kids like the Cisnero kid from Selma. They were going to Porterville. They were going to just Tulare. They were trying to just get talent. So, you know, why did you decide to stay in Porterville?
I can't remember I remember them talking to Brett. Like, I remember him saying he was going to go out there. That was before, you know, he announced that he was going to leave and go out there. I don't remember if they came after me, but I wasn't really anything yet, you know. Like, I was barely going to go into my freshman year. And I think me and Brett were going to go into our freshman years, and he decided, you know, to go to Bakersfield, and, you know, he left Coach Vanny, which Coach Vanny is like a big name over here in Porterville, Olympian, you know, a couple-time Olympian. And that's who kind of brought Brett up since he was a kid. He kind of ditched Vanny, you know. It was kind of unfortunate, but I think he would have did better if he would have stayed with Vanny. You know, they had the same style, you know. But yeah, they were just recruiting from all over. You know, I think they won like state like three or five times in a row. I forgot what it was. They had a powerhouse for a while. They had Daryl Vasquez, Nathan Morgan, Jake Varner. They had a sick team.
Hell yeah. And shit, you know, you were able to defeat that. You defeat the Clovises, you defeat the Bakersfield at the Bakersfield's highest peak.
Yeah, I mean, yeah, exactly. Our section, you know, Central Valley section, that area too, Fresno schools, Bakersfield schools. It was tough coming out of there, but I was able to, you know, do pretty well.
Yes, sir. And then, you know, it translated to junior college. So, you know, what was like the highs and lows of, you know, trying to go through wrestling to mixed martial arts to actually getting an opportunity? Yeah,
so what happened was I met a friend. So before I went to Iowa Central, Junior College in Iowa, Fort Dodge, Iowa. Before I went out there that summer, I met a friend that was doing jiu-jitsu and MMA, and I started training. You know, he just somebody introduced me to him. Hey, you interested? I met a guy. He was like, "Hey, you're a really good wrestler. Are you interested in doing MMA?" And I was like, "Yeah, definitely. I've been watching this since I was a kid. I just don't know where to go to train." He's like, "I'm going to introduce you to my friend who does it." So I started training with him the summer after I graduated high school, and I started training jiu-jitsu before I went out to Iowa Central. And that's kind of how I got my foot in the door with mixed martial arts. So then I went out to Iowa Central. I wrestled for 2 years. You know. I was All-American. I was ranked number 1 in the nation both times, but I took third my freshman year and second my sophomore year. And then after that, I wasn't doing good in school. You know, I just kind of went to college just to wrestle. So I was like, you know what, I'm not going to transfer D1. I had a lot of offers, but I was like, I'm not doing good in school. I'm wasting my parents' money out here. They're sending me money to eat and stuff. I was like, I'm just going to stop this. I called my parents and said, hey, I don't want to go on with the school thing. I want to fight. It's in my heart. And I just want to come home and chase that. And they said, okay. They supported me.
Wow. And then boom, now we got this, because, you know, you're not too far away from the casino, and you know, like, from all the fights, you're a hop, skip, and a jump away from Lemoore. So, like, yeah. How were you going up there to see the fights, and you were hawking down who's the person booking them and promoting them, or like, what was it like back then? Because, you know, it was MySpace back then.
Yeah. Yeah, and then there was no amateurs or anything. So my first fight was a pro fight. But so, you know, there was a guy that was training in Porterville too. I was training with him a little bit, but I think he was promoting already. I think he was matchmaking already. And and he kind of hooked me up, to get my first fight. Him and my coach Paul, the one I started training with. So once I was ready to fight, they already had the hookup and everything, so it was easy to get my foot in the door. And they hooked me up with the, once I fought a couple times, then the manager started coming around like, hey, asking about me, So it wasn't too hard, to get my foot in the door.
Right. Cause you're one bad mofo.
Yeah. So then once, my story's crazy, man. I mean, it's kind of longer than that too. It's like, cause I got in trouble in high school, so it was kind of complicated, right? I don't know if I got in trouble in high school. I got in a fight my senior year, and at a party or whatever, It was definitely my fault. But I ended up going to court, and that's how I started training, because somebody that was working for my lawyer was like, hey, are you interested in martial arts? So I started doing that. So as I'm going to court, I started training. Then I'm able to go to college, They said, okay, you could go to college, but then I'm still going to court, trying to figure that out. So I'm going to court and going to school. And then they end up giving me a year in county for the fight, but they were able to like split it up so I could still go to school. So I would come home on my breaks, like Christmas vacation, summer vacation, I would go to jail. So that was kind of hard.
That happened to me too. It's just I just
really
dumber, and I robbed somebody. Like I was in a bed of a truck, went to the park, robbed somebody. It was fucking stupid. Like I don't know if you can see, I made front page of the Sunday newspaper, and then 3 weeks after that, I'm still want to be Mr. in the streets and dummy and rob somebody and not go to jail. And so I was 17 a few weeks before I turned 18, and make a long story short, I had to take a plea deal. And in the plea deal, they had me going off to YA, and then they changed it up to like, no, you can go to college still. So I was going to UC Santa Barbara, and you come back on your winter breaks, your summer breaks, your spring breaks. And it started off juvenile hall, then it went to house arrest. And so, yeah.
Yeah, so you can kind of relate. So I was 18. I was still in high school. And it was like a couple months before we graduated. So I got charged in assault. And anyways, so I was doing that for a while, and like I said, I wasn't doing good in school, and I was like, you know what? I called my parents. Hey, I want to finish the rest of my jail time. I'm just gonna do it straight. It was 6 months left, and I was like, and then I'm gonna come out and start fighting. So I was in there. When I was about to get out. 2 weeks before I get out, my coach calls me. Hey, we got a fight for you. I know you're gonna need money. Do you want to take it? And I was like, I'm still in jail. So I was like, yeah, I'm gonna need money. So I was, I knew I was gonna be broke when I get out. I was like, all right, I'll take it. I fought a guy that was like 4-1, I think, and I ended up coming out and trained for. I think I was in there 2 weeks, and I came out and trained for 2 weeks, and then I fought him. And I ended up winning like in a minute by a leg lock. And then I fought again like a couple months later, and I was like 2-0. I think I had fought before that or something. So it might have been 3-0. Then I got a call like from the manager, hey, we could get you into Bellator. They're doing this event, $175,000 to the winner, blah, blah, blah. You want to do it? And they go, but you got to move up to Santa Rosa. I want you to move up here and train up here. And I said, yeah, all right, I'll do it. And I signed with the manager up there. They got me into Bellator Tournament. And I was like, I was just basically got a job, 6 months before. And I'm about to I'm in this tournament to maybe win $175,000 and the Bellator World Championship. And I said yes, and I moved up there, and then I ended up, winning it later that summer. So it was about a year later I ended up winning it. And so I go from being broke with nothing in jail to like a year later having $175,000 and being a world champion.
So low, so high, low, high, low, and then back.
Yeah, exactly. Because I won a state championship, high, low, in jail, low, low, and coming back. Yeah, so yeah, and then another low came because I ended up losing that contract with Bellator.
Right.
I lost the fight. I fought outside the Bellator, lost again. They ended up just releasing me, and then I had to work my way back up and finally, got to UFC after a while.
Damn, so they did you like you're in a wrestling tournament, you got your 2 losses and kicked you out?
I was out, yeah, so. Yeah, it was tough. And I had an eye injury, because when I fought Joe Warren, I had an eye injury like a month later. I could detach my retina came detached. I don't know if it was from that fight or it was from, just being blind, just having weak retinas. So, you know, I lost my sight for a little bit. I was out for like a year, maybe half a year, and then I ended up coming back, lost again, and that's when they released me. And I kind of thought I was done.
But you know,
at that moment,
because we both know what happens next.
yeah. I mean, so I lost those two. I was thinking about retiring. I took some time off, and I came back and I won 6 finishes. And you know, finally it took a while, but I finally got the attention of the UFC and they got them to sign me. I was beating a lot of guys. They were trying to sign so many guys. They're like, all right, if you beat Joe Soto, you're gonna get in. And then I beat that guy. And then, all right, if you beat Joe Soto, you're gonna get in. And I beat that guy. So then finally they had to call me, hey, you want to fight? Yeah. So that's kind of how that went.
So how long did it take you to meet Dana White?
My first fight, because once I got signed, so I defended my title 2 weeks, like later on that week, they called me, hey, we want to fight in 2 weeks. And then, so I was like, yeah, I'm ready to go. Cause I just fought for, defended my title at 135 for Tachi. And then, then I had that fight, my first fight. And it was supposed to be Anthony Burchak, but they ended up switching me last minute, right before the weigh-ins. Like an hour, they switched me right before. And then that's when I met Dana White. After I made the weight, after weigh-ins, they pulled me to the back. And I met him. Him and Joe Rogan. They were like thanking me and everything.
Wow. Because, I mean, at that moment, you're about to fight just a regular scrub as your first, fight on the bill. And, they move you up to go to the main event. And then it was a bloody battle. Like, I remember, for me, getting told, man, Joe Soto's fighting. He's fighting. Like, it's a bloody bash. And, Facebook at that point went crazy. And so you seen all the stuff, and at that point, they weren't stopping people for live streaming people's fights and stuff. So I remember watching it. I was like, man, we were so upset because they, the fight went the way it went. But we're like, man, what would history be like if Joe won?
Yeah, it was a crazy fight. That whole week was nuts. Yeah, it was crazy. I remember because I had to go. They called me and I was on weight, for 136 because it wasn't going to be a title fight because I was fighting a different person. And then they called me, hey, we need you to come down here. They're like, hey, we need you to take this fight, blah, blah, blah. And I was like, all right, take it. We can negotiate some of the money. And then they're like, can you make the weight? And I was like, hold on, what? They're like, yeah, you got to get down to 135. You got to get down to 135. And I was already dead, because I thought I was going to make one. And I was like, they're like, can you make it? And I was like, I don't know. They're like, no, we got to, yes or no. I'm like, all right, yeah, I'll make it. So then I was like, how much time do they have? They're like, you got an hour. So got all my shit, ran to the sauna. I made that shit in 15 minutes though, but I lost a pound in 15 minutes. I had a lot of energy, but I was crying too. Like once I got out, made the weight, on my scale, I broke down and cried because it was just an emotional thing,
It was surreal.
Yeah, because I was broke at that moment too. We were really broke because I wasn't fighting for that much money. I just lost my contract for Bellator. I mean, this was a long process in between Bellator and UFC. So I was fighting. We were broke and just had a baby, so we were really broke. And then, like I said, I was fighting, negotiate some more money. So I just broke down. Like, man, my family would be good for a few months, I guess. But and I thought I was gonna win. So I was yeah. Cause I had just trained with Dillashaw and all them, like Dillashaw, Uriah, Cody Garbrandt. I trained with them 2 months before that, maybe during the summer. I went up to go train with them.
Yeah, that's something that a lot of people don't know is that a lot of UFC fighters train with other fighters. Back in the day, I went from LA to Chicago, and then there was a fighter in there. Oh man. I'm bad with names, but he ended up becoming a world heavyweight fighter, and he was from Chicago, but he was training with Chuck Liddell. And I'm like, the guy or the girl I was with, her cousin was married to him, and they're like, you see all these fancy cars, they're in there fighting with Chuck Liddell, the Iceman. I'm like, bullshit. And then I'm like, what? And go in there, and it really was him. And I was like, holy shit, these fighters really train with each other. And
yeah. Yeah, we do. I mean, especially coming up, some of us, sometimes some guys will come up together too. They won't even have no names, but later on they'll become something. And we used to train together. Or sometimes you just in a different city and you hit somebody up, or you have mutual friends where, hey, let's train. Like me, I had a mutual friend that used to be close to Uriah, so I was like, I didn't think I was gonna get signed to the UFC, you know. And I was getting ready to stop. I was like, man, I'm 6-0, whatever. I think I was 5-0 at the time. And I was like, I'm gonna have one more fight. If I win this one, I'll be 6-0, 6 finish. I was like, I want to go train with the best guys, you know. And TJ was up there, he had the belt time. I was like, I want to go see where I'm at. I'm probably never gonna get signed to the UFC, so I'm just gonna go train and see how I did. And I went up there and did good. So and then finally got signed. I ended up getting signed.
So before we transition out of all of this, because I got to get you through the ringer of the rest of my show, but you know, what other key points of your career that you know you want to take the time and shed some light to? Because you had such an amazing career. Yeah, you're 18-7. Yeah, there's been some fights that I really feel like, you know, you like that shouldn't have got out of your hand, and you know, just shit happens. But you know, shine some light, man, because a lot of people don't get the gift of, one, experiencing being a professional athlete, and two, just, you know, it's so dope seeing someone come out from the same place where we came from.
Yeah, no, I think that, I mean, it's crazy, the whole career thing, because you plan it kind of too. Like, I want to do this. Like, me and my friends would talk about it. Like, when we were in high school, like, hey, we're going to be in the UFC, blah, blah, blah. I said that, you know, like, I told me and my friend, like, I thought we were going to fight for a belt, you know, like, me and him. I was like, we'll fight for a belt, let it be you. But so that was kind of in my thought process, you know, I'm going to fight. And the UFC didn't even have our weights at the time. Like, the lightest weight they had was 55s. So it was crazy. I mean, I started my career at 55, dropped down to 45, 35. But yeah, it was just crazy. It's surreal, you know. I mean, looking back at it too, you know, fighting for world titles, fighting in the UFC, fighting for Bellator, being on video games,
Bro,
having sports cards. That's cool.
I play with you.
Yeah, thanks. Yeah, so like that kind of stuff, it's crazy. Yeah, it doesn't even seem real sometimes when I look back. Like, it went by fast too, but yeah, it was fun. It was fun, like traveling the world, being on planes. I'd be tripping out. I'd be on a plane. I'm like, man, I would tell somebody, like one of my friends, like, man, they're paying me hella money to go fight somebody from Canada or go fight somebody from Brazil. Like, this is crazy. Like, it was just, you know what I mean? Like, I felt blessed that, you know, I never took it for granted. I try to enjoy every moment on the walkouts, in the cage, filling the cage. It was hard work though too, you know. It was a lot of hard work, blood, sweat, and tears. But yeah, I mean, it was a long road. I had fun during the process.
I know you probably wouldn't change anything except for maybe some results, but what would one thing you feel like you could have done differently through your career?
I don't know, man. I feel like I gave it everything I had. Like, I could do anything. I don't know. I feel like I just went the path that was presented to me. You know what I mean? There was a couple of things I could have done, but I just didn't want to. Like when I first started, I could have probably went to Alpha Male. You know what I mean? Like I could have easily try to go in that school and try to do that. Maybe my career would have been different because they had more connections. You know, but I didn't want to go to a big gym like that. Like, I didn't want to go to a huge name gym like Jackson's or something. I wanted to do my own thing. You know what I mean? So, like, stuff like that would have made it easier if just going to a bigger gym, you know, having more opportunities earlier, you know. But I didn't want to do that. Yeah, I don't know. Maybe talking more, like being like a Conor McGregor type of person. But I wasn't really into that either, you know. I just wanted to, I didn't want to be famous because, like, I was a good talker or put on a show. Like, I wanted to be known, like, for good fights and, like, being the best fighter, you know. Like, that was my thing. Like, even the money, like, I wasn't money hungry either. Like, yeah, I love money. Like, I wanted to have a lot for me and my family, but that wasn't the thing. I was looking for a world title. You know, I wanted to be a UFC champion, like, more than anything. I didn't really, you know, the fame and everything, it wasn't about it. So, like, I could have had a better career maybe if I did some of those other things, but it didn't really attract me.
What's one of your favorite purchases over all the years of, you know, something that you could have and hold from your career?
My favorite purchase? I don't know. I don't know if it's probably my house. It's nothing special, but I mean, I got it and now it's mine for me and my family's, you know. It's nothing like super huge or nothing, but that and just like being able to travel, like going on trips, maybe, you know, staying at nice hotels, like just experiencing that life. Like I had money, so I'd be like, hey, let's go stay in the suite. Like, I don't know how long like this is gonna last, so let's enjoy it while it's here. You know what I mean? So I wasn't rich by any means at all, but I was ghetto rich. That's what I used to say. You know, where you're kind of rich, but you know, like if you have a bad year, you're gonna lose it. So, but I just enjoyed it, man. I mean, like I said, staying in nice places, eating good food. You know, I enjoyed just that lifestyle of fighting and not working for all those years. Finally, I had to get a job at 31, but I tried to avoid it for the longest time. But now it's cool, you know.
But, you know, I got to take my hat off to you because, you know, you're a dedicated father. You definitely didn't run away from your responsibility. You stayed there. You kept it going. You kept on being a dad. And I guarantee you did a whole bunch of trips and, you know, the struggles of it. But, you know, I got to make sure I take off my hat off to you for being a dedicated father. And also, I got to ask, how do you balance? How did you balance during all of that?
It was harder, you know, like that's one thing too. Like, it's a lot easier if you're a single, independent man or female, like chasing your dreams, right? You don't have no responsibility. So once the kids came along, you know, I couldn't just go leave and train here. I got to, you know what I mean? Like anytime I want, I gotta be like, hey, is this cool? Like, you know what I mean? Like I gotta consider my wife too. You know what I mean? I consider like, oh, she's gonna be here with this kid. Yeah, exactly. You know what I mean? Like, I'm not just thinking about me. I'm trying to keep my marriage together. So yeah, it's kind of hard balancing it, but I think I did a pretty good job at that. You know,
communication is one of the hardest things, but the easiest thing to forget about.
Yeah. So I mean, that's one thing we're good at. We're always talking about our feelings. Hey, I feel this way. How do you feel about this? You know, so just going back and forth in communication. But it's funny because like, when I first started fighting, I was like, hey, when I'm 30 years old, I kind of want to, like, I told myself, you know, like, by the time I'm 30 years old, I kind of want to stop and I want to focus on my family and get a job, try to figure that out. But, you know, I want to compete till I'm 30. And I end up doing that. Like, it ended up not being by choice, right? Like, kind of like my talent in my career wasn't that great. But it kind of ended up working out like that. At my last fight, I was 30 years old. And you know, then I was like, all right, I'm good with that. Let me just try to figure out what's next, you know? So, and that's what I've been trying to do, like, this last, like, year and a half, trying to figure out what's next. Like I said, I got my first job, how I'm supporting my family. I'm just trying to, you know, I'm just working right now. I'm just trying to figure out where I'm going now, next.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir. And, you know, you got so much history in you, so it's not hard for you to find out where you're coming from. So, you know, I think it's just a matter of just where the journey takes you and the process that you just, I feel like you love the process too. So wherever it takes you, you're going to be up for it.
Yeah.
So I got this next segment. It's my awareness segment. And pretty much the whole idea is to draw awareness. You know, I'm a father. I have a son. And, you know, eventually one day he's going to have to go through this. And I want to make sure he knows what to do. But at the same time, I realize there's a lot of kids that don't have fathers to tell them what to do in these situations. And I'm talking about when the red and blue lights come on and they get pulled over. And the high beam hits their back and they're looking for their friends. And, you know, I asked all my guests when was the last time they were pulled over so that, one, they can give a story that, you know, they got through. And number two, to give some insight on what the kids should do in those situations.
I don't remember the last time I was pulled over. I don't get stopped that often, thank God. I had a couple tickets, maybe like one I think I had like one speeding ticket ever and a seatbelt ticket, but I'm pretty good at not getting pulled over. But when I do, I know to be like really respectful. Like I'm just scared. Like I know like things can escalate real fast with the officer. You know what I mean? So I just try to be respectful. Because they can make your day real tough if you kind of stand up to them or come out of line. They can make your day real tough or, you know, make it a lot harder. So what I do is, like I said, like if I always talk to my kid, hey, just be respectful. Try to be respectful to them so you could just be on your way. I don't, you know what I mean? I don't want to be here all day with you. So I'll keep my hands like where they can see them on the steering wheel. Yes, ma'am. Yes, yeah, no, sir. Yeah, you know what I mean? So I try to keep it cool whenever I'm you know, because I've been around police and I got law enforcement as like cousins. I got, you know, I've taught law enforcement officers before in the gym. So I just try to keep things cool, try not to have any attitude. Even if they say something smart or they act in a certain way, I just try to keep it cool on my side. That way I can just go on with my day and not have any problems.
No, that's right. And see, you're doing a lot of good things involved in there. You're saying hi to people. You're not being scared. If we're in the gym together, you're not saying, "Oh, it's an elephant in the room and it's you." You're saying, "Hello, how are you?"
Yeah, exactly. I try to keep it cool with everybody. I try to be down to earth, and sometimes I forget like about the whole fighting thing. Sometimes like I'll be out on the street putting gas or something, and somebody will be looking at me weird. And I'm like, "What's this guy looking at?" Like, you know what I mean? I'll be like, "Man, why does this guy keep looking at me?" He'll be like, "Hey, you Joe Soto?" I'm like, "Yeah, what's up?" And like, "Oh man, I'm a big fan." And I'm like, "Oh man, like I just think this guy was being an ass." Like I forget, like you know what I mean? Like one day I was in line too with my friend at the store, and I was like, I just felt somebody looking at me the whole time, and I was like, "Man, what is this guy, like a racist guy or something? Why is he looking at me like this?" And my friend's like, "Hey, he's looking at your ears." And I forget I have cauliflower, so like, of course people are gonna look. Sometimes I forget these things, so I just think I'm, you know what I mean? I don't think about that.
Hey, one thing I like to do, my cauliflower ear is not as bad as yours, but one thing I like to do when I get a new barber that cuts my hair, when he touches it and he like trips out, I like to act like I'm hurting. So I'm like, ah!
Yeah.
And
I'll do that too. Like if there's somebody like a friend, like or somebody who I say I've known for a bit, but they haven't really felt my ears yet. I'll be like, "Hey, you want to feel my ears?" Like I'll be at work, and then I told the boss, "Hey, you want to feel my ears?" And they'll be like, "Oh yeah," because like they never felt cauliflower, and they'll grab it, and I'll go, "Ah!" And then they'll be like, they think they hurt me or something. But I'll do stuff like that, little tricks.
Hey, I know that you went through a lot of pain because mine was painful. I used to have to sleep with headgear on, so I can imagine what the hell yours was like.
Yeah, it was bad. Luckily, this one was like one hit. Like it was just a one-time thing. I think this one, I hit it 2 different times. But you forget how bad it is until you get it again. And you're like, "Oh, man, that shit hurts so bad when you're trying to sleep on a pillow." Oh, man. It just burns and just, it's a bad feeling. Like, it hurts.
So I have this thing called trading places, like the movie Dan Aykroyd, Eddie Murphy, where they wake up, lives change. And so I take 2 iconic lives and I switch them. And question number 1 to you is, will it work? And question number 2 is, what would life be like if they traded places? So for you, I got Chuck Norris trading places with Dennis Rodman.
Chuck Norris and Dennis Rodman? How would that work? Like inside each other's bodies, or like Dennis Rodman is just his body and is a karate master.
So they wake up and life's completely different. They're not living in their lives. It's up to you if you want to believe that they're in their body, but that's just up to you. Some people think of Freaky Friday. I like to go with just trading places, but it's all about the story that you envision.
Yeah, I don't know how that would be. It depends. Like if say Dennis Rodman was in Chuck Norris's body, his soul, Dennis Rodman's soul in Chuck Norris's body. Oh man, he'd be wild. That'd be a wild character. That'd probably make Chuck Norris way cooler though, because he'd be good at fighting, but then he'd just be wild. He'd be with the ladies, be gambling, smoking. It'd be crazy. And then the other way around, Dennis Rodman. If Chuck Norris went into Dennis Rodman's body, he wouldn't be as famous because it's kind of not out there, not as flamboyant, wouldn't get the attention.
But I think Dennis Rodman would be kicking everybody's ass from, I seen Dennis Rodman and people that was talking shit in Texas. He would, that Walker, Texas Ranger would have whooped their ass.
That's true too. And also the other way around, if Chuck Norris is Dennis Rodman body, would be some basketball players up when they were fighting right there with getting into brawls because those basketball players can't fight.
Man, bro. We know we're wrestlers. They used to walk into the wrestling room and we'd tape them up with matte tape and throw them out in front of the cheerleaders. Like, come on, don't come up in here. Keep it still, go around.
That's funny.
Yeah, no, bro. Wrestling, I love. That was like, you got to be a warrior at the same time. Like, you had girls put your weight on the back of their shirt like it's a football number. It was dope.
Yeah, wrestling was fun, man. I missed that more than anything. Probably it's like I don't know if I missed that more than fighting is the wrestling. That was fun being part of a team, just those practices, just those experiences. That was fun. The trips,
the greatest. Like I remember we used to like shoot dice with people from Vegas because we'd be at a tournament in Rio Mesa, Oxnard, and that's what we would do. Like, we got crazy stories.
Yeah, it was fun.
So I got this next thing called Impulse Q&A, and the whole thing is, they're like fan questions, but they're like all on these cards. And so I randomly grabbed 3. They don't pay me, so I don't say the name of their company, but they're good questions. Question number 1, you get an option to pass. If you don't like a question, you can pass, but you still got to answer 3 questions.
All right.
Question number 1, what is something you get wrong every time you do it?
Something I get wrong?
Almost every time you do it.
I'll pass on that. I can't think of anything.
What is the weirdest thing you find attractive in a person?
The weirdest thing I find attractive in a person? I don't know. Weirdest? Maybe feet. That's pretty weird. Like I like girls with nice feet.
No, that's not that bad. I thought you were gonna say like, I like when girls have hair in their ears or something,
Oh no, that's weird. Like hairy armpits and I'm good. Feet, yeah. Maybe feet. I like cute feet. I don't have a foot fetish by any means, but they have to have cute feet for some reason.
What's the cheesiest movie moment or line you could think of?
The cheesiest movie moment? Oh man. Or line. I have some cheesy lines. I can't remember any, but my friends always tell me these pickup lines and they're so cheesy. I just can't remember. I'll pass on that one so I can give you an answer.
What's the worst pickup line you've ever heard or dished out? I think that relates to the same thing. Damn it.
I know, that's what I'm saying. I know. It's just,
so another question.
I can't think of a pin. My friend had a pickup line like about the coronavirus. Like, if the coronavirus don't fuck you, can I, or some shit like that. Like, he was telling me some. Wow. I'm like, what? I don't know. He was. So I'll say that one. He said that to me. We were working one time, and he just comes up with stupid lines. Yeah, so that was one of them. Something about the coronavirus. I forgot what it was exactly. He comes up with some funny ones though too.
Well, shit, everyone that has a funny one gotta have some not so funny ones to get them through to the next funny one. Question number 3: what is your most unusual talent?
My most unusual talent. I don't even know if I could do it anymore. I got down low. I was trying to get down to 25, so I got down to 130, and I got pretty flexible where I got both legs behind my head. Yeah, so I could get one all the time, but like both of them, it was like a month where I could get both legs behind my head. That's pretty unusual for a dude.
Wow, bro. I know it was hard to pin you, like I really know, but I didn't know it was that hard to pin you.
Yeah. So I'm pretty flexible. I was. Right now I'm kind of heavy, so I probably barely get one over my head.
Bro, when I went to college, like my freshman year at UC Santa Barbara, I gained so much weight because I didn't have to think about weight at all. And they had like, I lost myself. I gained 20 pounds in fucking 3 months. Like, who does that?
Oh, I could do that. I could do that. Now, right now, I'm getting up there. The heaviest I've ever been. I've been up here before, like 167. I used to fight at 35, so I'm 67 right now, almost 170 shit.
Bro, I was ranked 3rd in the section in 04, right? At 145s. I'm 218.
Damn, yeah. Yeah, I could get up there. If I didn't hold myself back, I could get up there. One of my friends fought at 125, years ago when I was fighting at 35s and stuff. And right now he's like 2 something. And he's shorter than me. He's 5'3".
Damn, a little gordo.
Yeah. He was a wrestler from New Jersey. I wrestled in Iowa Central. He was actually roommates with me and John Jones. And he used to wrestle at 125. Now he's like 200 and like something.
Wow.
Now he can fight John. That's crazy.
You got to fight John?
No, I said now he can. He was a 25er. Now he's like 205 shit.
Yeah, that shit really get your ass tossed around. You better hope some of that littleness kicks in you.
Yeah.
Hey, so what are you most excited for coming up? I asked this question because it's been quarantine. The elephant is out about being stuck in your house, and so I like to ask people what are they excited for.
Like, what do you mean, as far as like getting out of the house, or like what? After
Like
once
stuff
this is
you're
all
working.
done.
Like, is there like a project you've been working on at the house, or is it something you've been doing with your kids, or like are they
Not
gonna
really like
hire your name at school?
before this all happened. I was wanting to get my son kind of into wrestling a little bit, kind of around it, not necessarily practicing yet, but I wanted to take him some practices and stuff. So I'm kind of excited about that. Once everything gets back to normal, just taking my son to wrestling. And yeah, that's about it. I mean, not really, getting back to training myself. I took a long break, like I said. I kind of itching to get back into training and maybe getting back into doing some jiu-jitsu, maybe. See what happens.
Hey, you got any questions for me?
Nah, just what you been up to? I don't know. What you been up to during this whole quarantine?
At home, being a dad and a husband, and really doing just working, bro. Like, actually, let me take that back. I've been spending more time working at home than I have been a dad and a husband, to be honest. Like,
okay. So you just been trying to focus on work, trying to get things done while you can.
Yeah, because like I was at such a monumental point with this show before everything happened, and then at the same time, I'm an A&R, and I like was having big meetings and being in studios at big moments, and so when you're in those elements, you get big things to happen, and so when you remove it, it's like now I'm remote, and so now I'm spending a lot of time on the phone, on the laptop, and transitioning, and at the same time I'm like, well, my show came to an end and my laptop crashed. It was just one thing after another, and then I just stepped back and meditated, and shoot, the show got back up and running, and then Snoop Dogg got behind the show a couple weeks ago, and so it's been a blessing.
That's good, man. That's good to hear. How many kids you got?
I got 2. My son is 5 and my daughter's 3.
Okay, so around the same age as mine. My daughter's 6 and my son is 4. So almost around the same age. That's cool.
Oh, so you're going through the same problems I'm going. They ran.
Oh yeah. Mine are crazy. I don't know about yours. Mine just a handful. They don't stop.
Bro, like my wife says, I lied to her because I didn't tell her like how wild I was. Like, it's hard for you to believe how crazy I was until, the little miniature version of yourself comes out. But even I'm like, whose kids are these? In their mind.
I know. I feel bad too. I'm like, she gets that from me. Like, my daughter sometimes, she got an attitude and she's stubborn. I was real stubborn. Like, if I didn't want to do something, I wasn't going to do it. And that's how she is. Like, she puts her foot down. My son's easy to persuade, but my daughter's hard, and I'll be like, man, she gets that from me. Like, I can see myself in her.
See, my son, it has a mouth on him. Like my wife, she was smart talking when she was a kid, but I was a smart talker. I was, I wanted to get something, I got it. And my son is the same damn way. And some of the times I'm like, are you kidding me? I'm watching videos the other night of him, and I'm driving off to work, and he's like, Dad, where you going? I'm like, to work. Bring me some money. Do you have some money? I need some money. Boy, you 3 years old. You don't know what money is. And
yeah,
that's the way he was. He is shit.
That's funny.
Hell yeah. Well, brother, I appreciate you taking the time out your day and sitting down, chopping it up with me. It's Contrast Uncut Season 2, Episode 37. I've really had the pleasure of rocking with someone I've known. Well, I've known of you. I haven't really got to sit down and chop it up with you. I know we probably sweated on the same wrestling mat before and some more stuff, but past that, we haven't had this opportunity. So I appreciate you taking the time, Joe Soto, and, just chatting, bro.
All right, thanks for having me, man. Appreciate it.
Yeah, and a big shout out to Uncle Snoop's Army and Bobby D Presents. This show would not be able to happen without y'all, so thank you guys. Peace.
Hey, it's Joe Soto, young with Contrast Uncut.
Hey.
Mama said knock you out. Double L, Cool J. Time still ticking though. Big clock, Flavor Flav. That's a public enemy. They see me coming up. Every verse I'm going flip mode. Squad bust a bus. Feel like Pac and keep your head up. Biggie shooting juicy. Coach is still alive. Just let me prove. King, nigga.